Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Xbox Division 2 here live for round number 1 at Australia. Currently sitting on board here with PV9 Magic as he comes up to the line to set his first lap of the evening. That is a 121.7, good enough for P10 at the moment there for PV9. Taking on board here with the Alpha Tori of Tazonic. He makes his way up into turn number 3. Currently stands Deluxe Cord sitting in first, followed by the pair of Mercedes. That's King Kirk and Indian Cyclone in second and third. Then we have 10 whole dollars there in fourth, and Violet Spartan running our top 5 at the moment, as we have 11 minutes yet to go here in Australia. We are very happy and very pleased for all of you that are tuning in tonight for the race. It's a pleasure to have you here. We have not one but 2 streams that will be live here tonight. Our Xbox Division 3 should be live in just a few minutes time. So as they go side by side now, and that is a McLaren backwards. Looking at the likes of PV9 Magic, who had a spin there. Luckily, no damage done to his car, so still be able to compete here in qualifying. Looks like Tazonic is actually going to go for another round here. Now take it on board with the Ferrari of FBY Logic. However, he has also invalidated his lap. Now look here, Leighton unfortunately invalidated as well. So now look here at Shadow Wolf, who we did not see last season, but he is finally returned here to PPR. We're glad to have him here in Xbox Division 2, and that is going to be another invalidated lap here for yet another driver. It looks like Shadow Wolf just cut the chicane a little bit too much right there, and that was all it took for him. So let's see if we can get an onboard lap here with Indian Cyclone as he makes his way up to turn number 1, clipping the curve very well and taking nice exit through turns 1 and 2. Now makes his way up to turn number 3. And now into 4. Indian Cyclone having a very clean lap so far here through sector 1 and after turn 5, and now into 6, braking right there at that 50-meter board and keeping it nice and tight. No cars in his way as he makes his way up to the chicane. Currently sitting in 4th position. See if he can pick himself back up here. That's Purple through sector 1 as he completely flies flat out through the chicane of turns 11 and 12. Now getting up here to 13, braking just after the 100-meter board. You want to take a quick line here through Cyclone, opting to downshift there into 5th. Now through turns 15 and 16, Cyclone's getting a clean exit here. Nicely done. DRS enabled, and across the line, Cyclone's going to come out here with a 120.0, almost getting into the 19s there. That's going to be good enough currently for P2 for Indian Cyclone. So now take it on board here with the Red Bull of Delirious. Delirious making a step down this season into Xbox Division 2, which looks to be our most highly competitive division throughout all of our F1 leagues this season. The gaps these guys are insanely tight, and I'm expecting some fantastic racing throughout the season. Looks like Delirious is taking it pretty easy through his lap, so now taking on board here with Vexing Track, his teammate in the Red Bull, Currently outside of the top 10 here, sitting in 14th place with a 21.5. See if Vexing can get himself into the top 10 here. We should see, as we are at the moment, all of our grid trying to get a lap time in here on the soft compound of tires. Most likely going to be seeing some soft to hard strategies tonight. May see some of our drivers opt to go soft to mediums if they're really willing to conserve those tires. Oh, but Vexing gets it into the gravel, and he's going to call that a lap. Very unfortunate. We'll now take it on down here to PV9 Magic, who's in 15th place. He's half a second up. Oh, nearly a second now after the exit there. Oh, and that's so unfortunate for PV9 Magic. Just cuts a little bit too much of the apex there out of turn 12 and invalidates his lap. He's going to have to go again. Has enough time to go back into the pits, however, and get a fresh set of tires so he doesn't have to set another lap on those. Now see how Leighton is doing here in 4th. Currently on the 2nd row of the grid there, and the Alfa Romeo, his teammate, $10 whole in 7th. But once again, we see it. These strict corner cutting rules really getting to some of the drivers here, if not more than half, as right before Leighton crossed the line, he invalidated. But here we go here with the Shadow Wolf, currently in 8th. He's going to come across the line here and improve to 7th position, right over $10 whole. That was a 0.2 improvement on Shadow Wolf's lap there, so still within the top 10, and 4 minutes and 30 seconds almost left to go here in qualifying. So we should see our drivers' final runnings very shortly. Unfortunately, the only two yet to set a lap is FBY Logic and TRC Platinum. And unfortunately, it looks like another invalidated lap for TRC Platinum. He's yet to get one in. He's our reigning Division 2 champion, and it is just not going his way here to start off the season. Going to bring it back into the pits and go again. We now take it on board here with Fontas. He's half a second up on his time. And if he improves just a little bit more, he's going to be good enough to get within the top 10 here. Deluxe Squad, PV9 Magic currently sitting on the front row of the grid. Those two pairs of teammates doing very good for the McLaren side of the garage here. And then we have the two Mercs of Indian Cyclone and King Kirk, very similar in pace as well, sitting there in 3rd and 4th. Fontas trying to get a Renault into the top 10 here. He rounds off the final turn, turn number 16, and across the line. Looks like Fantas can do it. Yes, he can. That's inside the top 10. That is P8 for the Banana Boat Boy, doing a very solid job there on what should be his final lap of qualifying. We'll now take it on board here with Night Shrimp. Night Shrimp not improving too much on his time. He's almost dead even there. He's going to have to push. And it doesn't look like this is going to be enough for him here on his final lap in qualifying, unless he wants to push those tires and has enough fuel to go again, which probably wouldn't recommend on the softs. We're going to wear very quickly through qualifying. That's going to be P11 for Night Shrimp. Gets half a tenth there out of Sector 3. Very nicely done by him. We'll now ride on board here with FBY Logic. The Vital Spartan is ahead of him, so take a look here at Vital Spartan in the racing point. Currently sits 8th place here in qualifying. It's going to be very tight here at the end. We'll see if Deluxe Cord can maintain his pole position. His teammate of PV9 Magic is just now leaving the pits. Doesn't look like PV9 Magic is going to have enough time. Tazonic opts to retire there in 18th. And we have a Red Bull as a yellow flag off there out of the turn 11 and 12 chicane. And Vital Spartan and FBY Logic both invalidating their laps there. Unfortunate for those two drivers. So we'll take it on board with the battle for the top 5 here on the grid. Leighton will be the first to arrive across the start-finish line. And it looks like King Kirk has retired. He's into the wall at turn 12. Unfortunate there for King Kirk. See if Leighton can pass him up as he comes across the line. Can he do it? That's going to be P3 for Leighton. We have Indian Cyclone currently sitting in 4th place here, trying to get that Merc on the first row of the grid. All he has to do is improve by a 1/10 of a second when he comes across the line. Let's see if he can do it. Deluxe Cord there in the background as well, right behind Indian Cyclone. It looks like he's going to keep his P1, and Deluxe Cord has invalidated his lap, so nothing else going for him. Taking on board here with Cheesy Train, currently sitting in 15th. He's going to prove up now to P7. That is P7 for Cheesy Train. Vital Spartan, unfortunately, was disqualified from the session for an unknown reason. Now look here at Aero Brackish as he comes across the line. Currently in 14th. Can he get inside the top 10? Yes, he can. That's P7 for Aero Brackish in the racing point. But let's not forget we have Perpetual Rain now. As he comes across the line, can he get himself within the top 10? No, he cannot. That was half a second off, and it looks like, by the looks of things, PV9 Magic got his lap in somehow and is pushing here. He's going to be the last car we see come across the line. He may very well take away Deluxe Cord's pole position. He's got to beat it out, though, by 4/10 of a second. Don't know if he's got enough in him to do so. Getting the car there on the grass. He's got some slow cars in front. Has to get the way out of a Merc, and he's going to come across the line. Yeets it through the finish, and that's only good enough for second place, but McLarens have locked out the front row of the grid, as we should see the results right now. Yes, there you have it. PV9 Magic lost out by less than 1/10 of a second, as we have Indian Cyclone there in 3rd position, 2/10 off from Deluxe Cord, followed off by Leighton, and then Delirious in 5th. We have King Kirk sitting there in 6th place, followed by the Shadow Wolf, Aero Brackish, TRC Platinum, and Cheesy Train getting in the top 10. Not looking very promising through qualifying for our reigning Xbox Division 2 champion, TRC Platinum, but still has to go through 29 laps here in this race. We will see how he can do, but Deluxe Cord and PV9 Magic looking like the two favorites at the moment if they can stay out of trouble and keep it clean here. And now we see if we are going to have a clear race in store tonight. It's been clear for all of our races, and it looks like we got some clouds forming above and maybe even a chance of rain. We'll now just wait for all of our guys to load up into the lobby, and as they do so and set their strategies, their fuel mix, and all that good stuff, we'll take a quick 30-second break here in the booth, and I'll be right back with you for the start of the formation lap. Thank you for joining us here at PPR Esports. Make sure to check out our D3 stream as well if you get the chance, and we greatly appreciate all the support that we're getting tonight, and we'll be back with you in 30 seconds time. Hello, and we are back. Currently underway for our formation lap. As we see, our top 15 are all starting on the soft compound tires Vexing track back there in 16th, opting to start on the hards. Interesting choice by him as we see these clouds coming above. Looks like we may quite possibly have a chance of rain here in the race, which could really shake some things up. And then we have our only two medium runners in the very back of the grid. That's Tazonic and Vital Spartan. Has to be said, Tazonic, if he did anything last season in Xbox Division 2, that was climb up very slowly from the back of the grid in many races to capture a couple podiums and even some top fives. So can't count him out there all the way in the back of the grid, but looking very nice, as we said, after qualifying for the two McLarens of Deluxe Sport and PB9 Magic. Indian Cyclone, who keeps it relatively clean, could quite possibly see himself on a podium as well, but you can't count out anyone within the top 10 here, as we have so many quick drivers and very close in pace that really anyone's best bet at the moment. You see our predicted pit stop strategy there presented by AWS. The one stop, the soft to the hards, the two stop, the soft to the mediums. Don't expect any two stops, however, tonight. All we can wait for, though, is if we're going to see rain at the middle or even end of the race, or maybe even within 5 minutes' time. We do not know, but we are coming close to 5 red lights and the start of our very first race here at PPR Esports. We cannot wait for it to begin as we wait for all the drivers to get up on the grid. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights, and away we go here for Xbox Division 2 at Australia. It's a great get-off for our race leader of Deluxe Court. PB9 Magic falling right behind. Oh, and Leighton goes off. He's gone to the back of the grid, reset the track. That's going to be a hefty penalty there from the stewards. Now on board here with King Kirk, having a battle with the Red Bull of, I believe, Delirious, as our timing charts are extremely messed up. Thank you very much, Cody's, as hopefully everything will get fixed soon. And that was Delirious that King Kirk was battling with, and it looks like everything has been reset. So there we have it. What a start. And it looks like Fontas trying to make a move down the inside here of the Williams of Hay AC. And it looks like he's gotten that one done. Now taking on board here with Cheesy Train. Come up behind FBY Logic and the Ferrari. FBY Logic not too far off there from $10 whole. We have another yellow flag. And we'll keep our track map on to see where this is happening. Looks like that's going to be Vexing track going off circuit, as all of our drivers getting very bunched up there through the final 2 corners. Deluxe Court setting the fastest lap of the race. King Kirk trying to get a run here on Delirious through turn 1. But Deluxe Court really running out with it there in first place. His teammate already a second behind. As it looks like something's gone wrong with FBY Logic. Or that was, excuse me, his teammate of Night Shrimp. Night Shrimp missing that entirety of his left wing. Not looking very good for him. As the Lux Squad takes off here in first place. You see his teammate of PV9 Magic off in the distance there. But looking very nice for the two McLarens. Maybe trying to capture a 1-2 here tonight. Take it back here to Cheesy Train as the midfield makes its way through turns 11 and 12. 10 whole dollars still sitting up in front of Cyclone there. And Cyclone slowly edging up to the back here of ARO Brackish for 5th place. Cyclone, who started in, I believe, 3rd position, falling back 3 places. DRS now is enabled. So we should see the use of it now on this lap. We're starting to see the time penalties fly in as well. Only 3 laps into the race. Indian Cyclone slowly plotting a move here. Oh, and look at that. Brackish has gone off. Cyclone gets the inside line, gets back on the racing line. That's the move done. A small mistake there from Brackish. Brackish have to be very careful. He's got 10 whole dollars and the Alfa Romeo right behind him. Brackish cannot lose any more positions. He sits in 6th right now. Got to be careful. Got to limit the mistakes. It looks like the very back of the grid was having quite a battle. You got Night Shrimp and Vexy Track battling it out here for 17th place. Unfortunately, those guys are not having the greatest start to the race that they may have anticipated. And I'll take it up here to the other Red Bull. That's Delirious, who's currently sitting in 3rd. He's got King Kirk right behind him. Kirk with the DRS advantage here. Not going to be able to get it through turn 1 at all. He's going to get it back right here. DRS enabled once more. 3 tenths behind Delirious. Doesn't look like he's have a move at all here coming into turn number 3. See his teammate of Indian Cyclone back behind him. As we now look on board here with Cheesy Train going side by side with 10 whole dollars. Someone's going to have to give here. They're not going to be able to make it through. They're going to make it through. They're both going to go too wide, and that's going to be 10 whole dollars into the wall, and the Alfa Romeo losing a bit of that end plate there on the right side. He's going to drop down now into 9th place. He's got Fontes now on his outside. He's going to have to leave the space. 10 whole dollars now losing that position as well. Has now fallen back into 8th place after attempting to overtake Cheesy Train. Did not go well. Both of those drivers not giving away anything positionally, and the one to come out at the short end of the stick was 10 whole dollars. It looks like it might only take 10 whole dollars to fix that front wing, and he should be fine to run on this set of tires. It's only an end plate, and he should be able to keep going on track without making any extra stops. King Kirk now losing out just a little bit here to Delirious, as Delirious makes his way up now to PV9 Magic. Oh no, and Cheesy Train has retired from the race, and we have a safety car. Gonna see if we can pick up Cheesy, as Vital Spartan should actually be coming up to him. What went wrong with Cheesy Train? He's sitting aimlessly there at least 200 meters or more from turn 16, but we're back to racing now. His car is gone. And we'll take it here. PV9 Magic really losing out. Something's going wrong now with PV9 Magic. He's dropped to P4. Wonder if he got caught out by the ending of the VSC. because he was going very slowly, and this allowed Deluxe Squad to create a 4.5-second gap there in first place. PV9 Magic, however, looks like he's getting back up to speed there and keeping on pace. King Kirk now looking on the move on Delirious. Delirious hugging that inside line, compromising his run out and giving King Kirk an opportunity to make a move here. King Kirk backs out. He's going to have DRS. Might want to wait. No, he's not. He's going to send it around the outside. Can't make it stick. Delirious staying in P2 there in the Red Bull. Getting a better exit off of turn 16 than King Kirk, but Kirk's going to have the power of DRS, but he's going to have to watch out for PV9 Magic and Indian Cyclone behind them. You got Aero Brackish there in 6. Oh, and Cyclone loses it just a little bit in the grass. And Aero Brackish is going to get him back. Brackish making a mistake 2 laps prior at turn number 5. Sees Cyclone make one at turn 1 and gets him back. Position there for the race point in 5th. Oh, but now Brackish makes a mistake. And Cyclone at the same corner gets it back here. Now Aero Brackish sits back into 6th, and this is bringing Fontas and the Renault in a striking position. As we'll now take it back on board here with PV9 Magic. The battle between 2nd all the way through 7th really spicing things up here as Deluxe Squad just cruises out there in 1st place. Clouds still looming overhead. A threat of rain may be imminent, but at the moment still dry track conditions. King Kirk and Delirious battling it out. Something's gone wrong there with Brackish. He's now been overtaken by Fontas for P6. So now Brackish and the race point sits there in 7th. King Kirk's going to try to get a good run here from Delirious. He's got DRS enabled. Doesn't look like he's going to get caught by any of the guys in the back. PV9 Magic, Indian Cyclone there. Both don't have enough room to make a move as we now take it back. Oh, and King Kirk loses it. Oh, King Kirk's into the wall. King Kirk is into the wall off of turn number 2, catching a huge snap of oversteer. And that's going to be a yellow in Sector 1. No safety car yet at the moment. Racing still continues. Indian Cyclone is going to have to pick up the weight here from the Mercedes team, as what was looking to be some great points for them in the constructor standings is now slowly, I should say quickly, fading away, as Cyclone's going to be their only hope now for a podium finish, as that is brutal for King Kirk here on his first race. And there finally comes out is the safety car, as it looks like Hey Ace has retired as well. See if we can pick him up. And there is Hey Ace. So it wasn't King Kirk that caused the safety car, even though he was sitting in the middle of the track. It was actually Hey Ace. So that's 2 retirements there on lap 7. See how this shakes up our drivers, because it's too early to stop for mediums, but under safety car conditions they might be able to stretch them out. It's going to be quite a long shot. We'll see what our drivers do here up front. Does Deluxe Squad stay out? Does he come in the pits and put on the hards? He's going to stay out. Delirious, however, coming in to the pits. So is PV9 Magic. Cyclone as well. Let's go on board here with Delirious, see what tire choices he's putting on. Looks like that's going to be the hard compound. Fontas now into the pits. It's going to be the hards as well for him. All right, excuse me. That was PV9 Magic. And it's going to be the hards as well for Fontas. Deluxe looking like he didn't want to double stack, so he's going to stay out. But he's going to be behind a safety car, and this is caught out Deluxe Squad. Looking like he wanted to save his teammate there, who was actually behind him. So now Deluxe Squad in the first, and Tazonic is in 2nd place in the AlphaTauri. He either had a Guido-like pit stop, or somehow some cars got held up there in the pits, because Tazonic now is up into 2nd and saying that he's on a fresh set of tires. However, there is a tire glitch where it will say you only have 0 laps in. So if it keeps saying that, we'll understand that Tazonic has actually been on those tires since the start of the race, but we will see. Tazonic may have actually stayed out there. So there you have it. Delirious now in the 3rd, Indian Cyclone in the 4th, PV9 Magic in 5th, and then followed up is Fontas. Got Platinum slowly making his way up the grid here in 7th. Doesn't look like he has quite the same pace as we may have saw at the end of last season. Of course, that was F1 in 2019. Some of our drivers still getting adjusted here to the handling model and the pace of these cars in F1 2020, and that may be what we're seeing here for TRC Platinum. Leighton now sits in 8th behind Platinum. Leighton had a very early off on the very first lap as we saw him go sliding through the gravel at turn 1. He's done a good job of picking himself back up into 8th place. Perpetual Rain there in the Haas, and then Aero Brackish coming out into 10th. I assume he may have needed a wing change. And there you have it, Deluxe Board hopping into the pits. We'll see how many positions he loses here. He's going with the hards as well. He's going to come out, it seems, behind FBY Logic. So Deluxe Board's falling all the way down to 14th place. I'm very shocked he didn't pit. I say he may have been worried about a double stack, but it looks like there was plenty of time there between him and PV9 Magic to easily get that double stack in. Deluxe Board probably would have been out before PV9 Magic even came to enter the pit box. So very interesting strategies here at McLaren. We now see Tazonic leading a lap of the race here under safety car conditions. And we will assume now that those are the medium tires that he started the race on, as it's still saying that he's done 0 laps on them. So and there you have it. Yes, Tazonic is the only one yet to make a stop tonight. Everyone else on the grid has. The pair of Ferraris not having a great race. Both have stopped twice, but with the safety car restart, they potentially have the chance to catch back up and capture a top 10 by the end of the race. Now all we wait for is for the safety car to come back in and racing to resume as we're on the lap 9 and coming up here onto lap number 10, and that is safety car in this lap. Gotta say, I love the efficiency of the safety car in F1 2020. And we'll now get back to racing very shortly. Tazonic's going to lead us off here. You have to be careful. He's got the fresh hard runners right behind him. However, those hards will take a few laps to warm up. See what Tazonic can do on his mediums if he gets hawked down here from Delirious. And it looks like Tazonic now is off. Deluxe Board has been giving a 5-second penalty for a severe collision with Vexing Track. That may be something that gets looked at by the stewards post-race. But at the moment, he's got a 5-second penalty. Now on board here with Delirious trying to make a run up. PV9 Magic doing a great job here on Cyclone. Not going to be enough though. Oh, and he's outbrakes himself. Does a good job of not going in the back there. Cyclone, oh, but you got the Alfa Romeo of Leighton, the Renault of Fontes, going side by side, getting very close. Oh, these drivers are going to have probably a heated grudge match here on track. That was a little bit of a nudge. As Leighton now finds himself in 5th. Those tires, those hards looking like they're doing wonders for him right now because he's now on the back of PV9 Magic. This might be 2 overtakes here halfway through the lap. And yeah, he's done it. That's going to be 4th place there for Leighton in the Alfa Romeo. He's going to have to be careful that McLaren and PV9 Magic got a great exit out of the chicane. However, something slowed him down. Maybe not as great as I assumed. But here comes Leighton on the back of Cyclone. Leighton just hopping throughout the grid here. We have a yellow flag in Sector 3. And doesn't look like anything yet here on track. Keep it on board here with Leighton. I think he's called Scenario 7 a little bit early. He's gaining on Indian Cyclone. Looks like that may have been $10 whole who caused the yellow flag. He's now coming into the pits. We have yet again another yellow flag. We're sticking on board here with Leighton because he's diving down the inside of Cyclone. The Mercedes man holds him off as they come through turn 4. And now around 5, a great shot from the Helicam. back on board with Leighton. Doesn't look like he has it quite yet, and that was TRC Platinum into the pits, causing the yellow flag. Very unfortunate. I'm going to assume that him and $10 may have had a slight collision there, causing both of them to come into the pits. So unfortunate for both. That's going to set them very far back here in the race. Unsure if they'll be able to recover and get any points out of this. Leighton really cutting the chicane right there. It's got to be a warning. He's been unable to catch up. Indian Cyclone, however, is getting on the back of Delirious. This battle for second getting spicy, as Tazonic is doing a great job of holding his own right now in first place. I'm beginning to wonder if he's going to try to stretch out those mediums till about lap 18 or 19 and put on the softs. With the safety car coming out, it's not out of the realm of possibility now. Taz is going to have a few extra laps of life in those medium tires. But now we take a look here at Deluxe Court as he fights his way back through the grid after being sent to nearly the back, almost last place. He gets around Vital Spartan here. And it looks like that's going to be the move done here for Deluxe Court. See if Vital has anything to go back at him with. Doesn't look like he does. So that's going to be P9 there for Deluxe Court. And it looks like Tazonic is starting to lose a little bit of the gap that he created. Looks like he might have been able to get it without a 1 second gap. But now Delirious is slowly creeping in on him. You got Indian Cyclone as well, because Delirious catches a little bit of oversteer there, and Cyclone gets past him. Does very well in the braking zone. Now up into second. Delirious is going to have to be careful. He's got Leighton here. Leighton doesn't really have anywhere to go. Does a great job not making contact with Delirious, but he's going to go on the outside of Delirious. He's going to compromise Delirious' run, and he's going to have DRS. And he's going to be a drag race here to turn one, but Delirious looks like he's using an overtake. Yes, he is. He's going to go on the inside of Leighton. Oh, and they make a little bit of a contact there, and Leighton does a good job. Nearly gets shunted by Magic. No fault of Magic's, just Leighton not being able to control his car after getting on the grass there with contact with Delirious. Oh, and he loses the back end. Now he's dropped back to 6th place. Sore sights for the Alfa Romeo team, as it looked like Leighton was going to charge his way up the field and has just lost all of that momentum that he just gained. Delirious remains in 3rd at the moment. We'll take it on board here with Fontes, who's in 5th. Him and PV9 Magic getting that overtake there on Leighton after he tried to control his car back on the track. And I got to say, he did a great job of not losing the back end there and getting his car back in one piece. But at the moment, the top 3 stand Tazonic, Indian Cyclone, and Delirious. Cyclone, however, starting to get close, and it looks like FBY Logic has gone off and is back on circuit, so he's still going. Not going to be a DNF there for Logic. Cyclone not getting the greatest exit there out of turn 16. But he's going to have DRS again. Tazonic, this tire is going to start really, oh no! And Logic, FBY Logic has retired. He's gone off on circuit. And that is a VSC. Very lucky that is not a safety car, it's just a VSC. See if we can pick up FBY Logic here on TRC Platinum. Oh, and that is unfortunate there for Logic. Looks like he might have just lost it out of turn number 13, I believe that is. But now back aboard here with Tazonic. Gets a great start after the VSC ends. And we take it on board here with Delirious. That's now 4 retirements in the race. Cheesy, King Kirk, Hey Ace, FBY Logic, the 4 of those DNFs. Not the way you want to start your season, but there's still 21 more races left to go. Leighton now trying to make his charge back up the field. Doesn't look like he's doing too much though at the moment. As we go on board here with PV9 Magic. Got a great eye at this battle here in the top three. You guys are very close and within touching distance of one another. Still have to remember Tazonic has yet to pit. And it looks like he might be trying to go till lap 19 so he can make a stop for the soft compound of tire. Luckily, Night Shrimp has joined back in the session. Glad to have him back as his car currently sits in 13th. Delirious and Cyclone both starting to make runs here on Tazonic. Tazonic's going to hold the inside line as the Mercedes of Cyclone tries to take it around the outside. He's now going to have the promising inside line here, but they're going to go side by side. Someone is going to have to give out. Oh, and that was very, very close to contact. And Tazonic will now fall into second place. He's going to have to be careful for the Red Bull of Delirious. Currently sitting in third. And Delirious not yet going to be able to make a move, but slowly eyeing his chances. He doesn't want Indian Cyclone to get too much of a gap on him. Guys have looked to be pretty similar on pace so far, but he's got Taz in front of him. So he's going to have to make that pass very soon. P9 Magic starting to fall back just a little bit. And something's gone wrong now with Leighton. Leighton is sideways again. And it looks like his car is unable to go. And back to a VSC. That is very unfortunate there for Leighton. As he's sitting in the middle of the track. Not quite sure what's going on there with him. Tazonic staying out, not opting to go for the hards here under VSC. Could have maybe saved himself some time. Decides not to do so. See how that plays out for him in the end. Still under VSC. Unfortunately, it does look like Leighton may have retired on track, so it's going to be something the stewards look at post-race. But at the moment, it stands Cyclone, Tazonic, Delirious in the top three. And we are now back to racing. Got Magic, Fontas there in fourth and fifth. And it looks like Cyclone got a good start there after the VSC. And if you look at seventh place, that's Deluxe Squad now sitting in seventh. He's got the Haas of Perpetual Rain in front of him. For some reason, our bar does not want to show. It's going to be very unfortunate for the camera angles. Do apologize if you have to flip through some drivers. But back on board here with Deluxe Cord. As he's plotting his sights here now on Perpetual Rain for P6. And you can slowly start to see the front of the grid. As he goes for a move now here down the inside of Perpetual Rain. Oh, Perpetual Rain loses just a little bit. Hopefully no wing damage. Unfortunately, looks like he did. And he just lost it there as the Deluxe Squad got by him. Deluxe Squad now setting his sights on PV9 Magic. So we get any bit of team orders here. And we definitely do. However, they nearly take each other out, trying to decide which way Magic was supposed to go in that encounter. So team orders see Deluxe Squad promoted up into fifth place. We see Tazonic pick up a 3-second time delay. PV9 Magic as well, all coming there at the turn 11-12 chicane. It's very easy to cut the track there and get a warning and subsequently a time penalty after you succumb to 3 of those warnings. And as the Deluxe Squad tries to find a way around Fontas, we have Delirious still eyeing the gearbox of Tazonic. Yet to get past him. However, DRS enabled here. Delirious might do it here on lap 18 down the inside of Tazonic, and that was a very easy move for Delirious as we see Shadow Wolf take, oh no! As Shadow Wolf takes the fast lap of the race, we see Tazonic hit the wall. It looks like those tires are starting to fall off. Deluxe Cord goes down the inside of Fontes as these guys battle it out here for third place, and it looks like Deluxe is going to get the better of him. See what the Renault here of Fontes has for Deluxe Cord, as unfortunately it looks like we just got the engine glitch there with Fontes, so keeping on board here with the McLaren driver. Fontes really eyeing a podium here. As PB9 Magic looked to get a little bit out of sorts there in the background, unsure what's going on with him. Night Shrimp stealing fastest lap of the race there with a 23.2. And I have a feeling Tazonic will be coming into the pits this lap. And PB9 Magic as well. What's gone wrong with PB9 Magic? See if there's a front wing being changed. Yes, there is. He's lost what looked to be an end plate as they were taking that front wing off. So PB9 Magic now falling all the way back to what will either be 8th or 9th place. Tazonic there in 9th. And it looks like Fontes now, as we have stayed on board with him, is falling out of sight there for Deluxe Cord. The gaps have been extremely close all race, but slowly here in to the second stint of the race, we've seen the gap slowly widen. Deluxe Cord, however, after falling all the way back to 16th place at one point in the race, has found himself back on the podium and charging up for a race win. It is not out the realm of possibility here. He showed very early in the race that he has the pace to do so, as it looks like we have yet again another car off track. And going again, I believe that may have been TRC Platinum in 12th place. Oh, and there we go. We have gotten our spectate button back. We'll take a look here at Tazonic and how he's doing there on the fresh softs and the AlphaTauri, as he's trying to get back at PB9 Magic. As he does so, Deluxe Cord is getting that gap to Delirious to decrease exponentially. It's now down to half a second, and the Red Bull driver has to be worried as he's got the sights of that McLaren in the rear view mirrors, or as we should say, his side mirrors. They come through the chicane. Delirious not getting the best interest there, but a clean enough exit to where he might be able to hold off Deluxe Cord here into turn 13. Yes, he can, but he's going to have to be careful. Deluxe Cord is all on his gearbox. He's going to have DRS as well. Down the straight here off of turn 16 and into turn 1. We're coming up 9 laps left here in the race. Night Shrimp has retired, doing so in the pits after having an awful start to the race. But there goes Deluxe Cord down the inside. Delirious trying to get back at him, but unfortunately Deluxe Cord has the DRS. Deluxe is going to hold it in the middle of the track. Plenty of room to move back on the racing line. And it looks like that's going to be the move done now for Deluxe. Delirious, however, not out of P2 quite yet. He's only 3/10 back. They also got to be careful of the Renault of Fontes behind them. Unsure where our time penalties are. I do know Fontes has picked up a couple tonight, at least 2 by my knowledge, so unsure where Deluxe Squad and Delirious are sitting at, but I believe Deluxe Squad is sitting with either 0 or 1. At the moment, Indian Cyclone is holding very well there in first place. It's really the battle for the final podium spot that's up for grabs here. You'll see Vital Spartan there in 10th with a 3-second time penalty. And as I talk about Deluxe Squad not having a penalty, that is a 3-second time penalty there for him. We know Cyclone has one as well. So this is going to shape out to be quite an interesting race. We're 22 laps into this 29-lap race. Delirious has to be wary now. He may lose out on the podium. Fontes is very close, 4/10 back, and Deluxe Squad is starting to build out a gap. He's now a second past Delirious, and Delirious is now losing out to Fontes. And unfortunately for Fontes, that is another 3-second time penalty for him. It looks like the podium's all going to come down to who has the least amount of penalties. But here on track is what we care about, and Fontes looks like he might be able to make a move here into turn 1, or maybe even into turn 3. He's going to have DRS twice. Deluxe Squad picking up a 3-second time penalty. However, didn't really see a cut of the track. That's very interesting. However, he has enough to hold off Fontes here through turn 1. Will he have enough to do it through turn 3? He gives up the inside line. Very interesting. Oh, but Fontes makes a little bit of contact there with Delirious. I wonder, does he think if that was enough, maybe to hand a position back? That was a slight touch. Unsure if we had a steward watching this, what they would think about that. Fontes, not thinking that was really any harm, stays there in 3rd place, and that's a move done for him. Delirious, however, will not give up, but it looks like those tires are starting to fade a little bit faster than the guys in front of him. As the Deluxe Squad now has a gap to Indian Cyclone down to a 2.5 seconds. That looks like a battle that is just waiting to happen with the final laps of the race left to go. Delirious not giving up here for a podium. He may have less time penalties than Fontes, and that may be crucial here for Delirious if he can't get past Fontes on track. You see $10 back in the pits, putting on another set of softs. And he will come out in 13th place. Delirious not getting a great exit here, and he's starting to catch some snaps of oversteer. That Scotty was costing him a few tenths. And with the battles with the guys up front, that's all it takes to lose out on a podium. And you see it now, he's outside that 1 second gap. He's going to have to find something in that car to make it work. So we now take it on board here with Deluxe Squad, who's currently in 2nd place. Indian Cyclone this lap maintaining that 1.6 to 1.7 gap on Deluxe Squad. It's now dropped to a 2.5 seconds, but at the moment looking good for Cyclone. And as I say that, he picks up a 3-second time penalty. Very unfortunate for him. See how that comes into play. Delirious now nearly a 1.5 seconds back here from Fontes. So with all the action that we had throughout the entirety of this race, the last couple of laps really dying down. Not much action going on the track. It's really all up to if Deluxe Squad has enough to make a run at Indian Cyclone. See Cyclone here within eyesights there of the McLaren, but does Deluxe Squad have enough in him to make it work? We'll have to see. But 25 laps in, and Cyclone holds strong here in P1. Maybe doing the Merc justice as we've seen it completely dominate in real life. And it's doing nearly the same here on track, as we'll now take it on down to PV9 Magic, who's slowly catching Vexing Track here. Vexing Track in 7th position, PV9 Magic in 8th. Saw him take a very heartbreaking second stop in the race to change his front wing. So he's trying to fight back for any extra points he can get. He looked like he may have been on for a podium, quite possibly, but doesn't look like that is in the realm of possibility any longer. But he can definitely capture 7th place here. Might be the best he can do with the amount of laps we have left. He's got DRS enabled. He's on the back of the Red Bull here, Vexing Track. Not going to get it done here through turn 1. Going to have DRS once again. We've seen the move into turn 3 happen quite often. Oh, and they might go side by side. Vexing Track on the inside. PV9 Magic on the outside as they make a run into turn 3. And oh no, that was very, very close to Vexing Track nearly spinning on track. Those guys getting almost too close to one another, where that nearly could have cost Vexing Track his race. But PV9 Magic now up into 7th and already a second ahead of Vexing Track. Nicely done there for PV9 Magic. Unfortunately for Tazonic there in 9th, those soft tires have not done him well at all. For some reason, the game says he's spent 32 laps on them. However, he did pit on lap 18, so he's done just over 8 laps there on those tires. Deluxe Squad looks like he's starting to fall back here from Indian Cyclone, as we can take a look to what his telemetry is looking like here compared to Cyclone. Cyclone's got more ERS saved up. It's going to be interesting to see if Deluxe Squad has enough in him to get close enough to Cyclone to make a move. But at the moment, he's losing out on time and losing out on laps. And it looks like this might be a race victory very soon for Indian Cyclone. Once again, this is all pending time penalties once they all cross the finish line. They look here at the 3rd place of Fontas. He's 2 seconds clear of Delirious there in the Red Bull. Delirious has the back marker of $10 whole right behind him. It could be interesting if he has to let $10 whole go through. $10 whole is on faster tires. Looks like he's a faster car as well. Might try to unlap himself. As we look back, Deluxe Squad now 3 seconds back of Indian Cyclone, and Cyclone looks like he's putting in hammer time at the moment there in that Mercedes, as he is doing very well for himself. TRC Platinum picks up another 3-second time penalty, but back in 13th place. He's outside of the points. Really no harm in that time penalty whatsoever. Unfortunate to see the first race of the season not go as well as our championship winner from last season may have hoped. But as we've said before, for many of our drivers who have DNF'd or not had the greatest race tonight, there's still 21 more left to go as Fontas picks up another time penalty. And those are really hurting him, and I believe he's going to lose out on his podium. unless the likes of Delirious and AO Brackish have really accumulated a ton of penalties, Fontes might be caught out by that. Nonetheless, he's had a great drive all race. As we may have a final battle brewing on track. That's going to be between Vital Spartan and Tazonic. This is going to be the battle for 9th place, and Spartan really starting to catch up here to Tazonic. Gotta wonder how those softs are faring for Tazonic at the moment. He's got Vital catching him very quickly, as this is the final lap of the race. However, Vital Spartan there picking up a 3-second time penalty. We'll take it back up here to Indian Cyclone in first. Deluxe Cord has already cut out a whole second just through Sector 1. Something has gotten into Deluxe Cord. I don't think he has enough time really to make any sort of a move, but he is definitely cutting into the gap here with Cyclone. Cyclone should be well enough ahead to where there is nothing that could really catch up to him if he doesn't make a mistake. It looks like Platinum now is retired from the session, opting not to finish the last lap of the race. And Deluxe Cord put in all he had in that lap, but it was not enough. And that is going to be the race win for Indian Cyclone. Barring time penalties here, but across the line, that is Indian Cyclone. Deluxe Cord coming in second. Fontes, we'll see how his time penalties fare here. Actually bumps down Deluxe Cord into fourth, so Deluxe Cord losing out on a podium. Fontes as well. So Aero Brackish, who is not in the top 3, I believe, at all throughout the entire race, captured 3rd position. Delirious keeps 2nd, and Indian Cyclone is our race winner. We have Vital Spartan across the line. He's going to pick up P8 over Vexing Track after time penalties. Tazonic is going to do it. He captures 1 point. And Perpetual Rain there in P11, unfortunately, very far back. It's going to be outside of the points. Very sad to see a couple drivers retire on the last lap, as they may have not had the races that they would have expected. But hats off to Indian Cyclone for the race win. Delirious for P2, and Aero Brackish for what I could only assume was the cleanest driver all night when it comes to time penalties, as he picks up P3. Congrats to all these guys. Making it through our first race here for Xbox Division 2. There you go. Driver of the day is Vital Spartan. Interesting choice. Cody's very interesting. And here we go for the podium celebration. Nicely done there from Indian Cyclone, popping the champagne, letting it fly, and can rest his head high tonight, capturing the first win of the season. This might be his redemption year after losing out on the championship last season, coming out in 2nd place. And we'll now look at the final standings one more time. That is Indian Cyclone P1, Delirious in 2nd. Delirious went the entire race without a single penalty. Got to give him a cleanest driver of the night award for that one. And you have Brackish rounding out the top 3. Fontes, unfortunately, with 15 seconds of penalties, comes out in 4th. And you have the Shadow Wolf there in 5th. The pair of McLarens of Deluxe Cord and PB9 Magic fall in the 6th and 7th. Deluxe Cord, unfortunately, with 26 seconds of penalties, as I was very wrong earlier in the race by maybe just completely avoiding all the penalties he's racked up. Falls all the way to 6th. And then 8th, 9th, and 10th is Vital Spartan, Vexing Track, and Tazonic. What a race, I must say, that was. As we'll see. we can get these guys in here. We are joined by none other than Andy and Cyclone. Might have to call this year your redemption year after falling second place in the championship last season, but coming out the first race with a victory. How does it feel? Unfortunately, I may be having some audio issues, so see if we can get them in to our Discord and get in some interviews. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like we will have our driver interviews. I will fix our interview room for next weekend. But thank you all who've joined tonight, watched our race. Be sure to check out in 15 minutes time Xbox Division 1 as they take on Australia as well for their very first round of our Season 2 here at PPR. It was great having you all. Hope you guys got to check out some Xbox Division 3 racing as well. We're very happy to have them streamed and that we can do that. Have both these races streamed at the same time here on YouTube. But that's going to be it here. That's all for me. And just want to say thank you once again to everyone who tuned in to stream. We will see you next week, next Tuesday, same time, same place, but different track. We'll be at Bahrain. Can't wait to see you there. Peace.